Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a story of class 5th ICSE board. The name of the story is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Part 1. Introduction. Mr. Willy Wonka is the most extraordinary chocolate maker in the world, but no one has ever visited his factory. One day, Mr. Wonka announces that he has hidden 5 golden invitations inside 5 Wonka chocolate bars. The lucky children who discover these tickets will be allowed to visit his factory. And what is more, these lucky children will receive a free lifetime supply of chocolates. 8-year-old Charlie Bucket is one of the lucky winners, and this extract from Roald Dahl's fantastic story begins as Charlie and his grandpa Joe wait with the other 4 lucky ticket holders for the factory gates to open at 10 o'clock. An enormous crowd had gathered outside the Wonka. Shopkeepers, people from close by, shoppers, the media and the television crew, all eager to see the 5 lucky ticket holders going in. Where were they? The excitement was tremendous. It was just before 10 o'clock. The policemen, with arms linked, were trying to hold back the shouting and pushing crowds back from the gates. Right beside the gates, in a small group that was carefully shielded from the crowds by the police, stood the 5 famous children. The tall, bony old figure of Grandpa Joe could be seen standing quietly among them, and beside him, holding tightly onto his hand, was little Charlie Bucket himself. He gave his grandpa's hand a squeeze, and the old man looked down at the little boy and smiled. Somewhere in the distance, a church clock began striking 10. Very slowly, with a loud creaking of rusty hinges, the great iron gates of the factory began to swing open. The crowd became silent. All eyes were fixed upon the gates. "There he is!" someone shouted. "That's him!" And so it was. Mr. Wonka was standing all alone, just inside the open gates of the factory. And what an extraordinary little man he was! He wore a black top hat on his head. He wore a tailcoat made of a beautiful red-colored velvet. His trousers were bottle green and his gloves a pearly gray. In one hand he carried a fine gold-tipped walking cane. Covering his chin was a small black pointed beard, a goatee. And his eyes were most marvelously bright. They seemed to be sparkling and twinkling, and his whole face, in fact, was alight with fun and laughter. He looked so full of life. The 5 children were now taken forward to meet him. Suddenly he did a quick little skipping dance and spread his arms wide, and smiling he called out, "Welcome, my little friends, welcome to the factory." His voice was high and melodious. The crowd went wild once again, shouting and pointing out to the children. After meeting and welcoming the 4 lucky ticket winners, he at last came to Charlie and Grandpa Joe. "My dear boy," cried Mr. Wonka, and seizing his hand, pumped Charlie's hand up and down with terrific force. "My dear boy, how good to see you! Delighted, charmed, overjoyed. And is this your grandpa? Delighted to meet you, sir. Welcome, welcome. Come in, come in. That's right. Step through the gates. Follow me, all of you." Charlie glanced back over his shoulder to see the gates closing behind him, and all the sights and sounds of the outside world disappeared. Following the others, Charlie and Grandpa Joe found themselves standing in a long corridor with pale pink walls. The lighting was soft and pleasant. How lovely and warm, Grandpa. Our little room is so cold. Shh! What a marvelous aroma, said Grandpa, taking a long deep sniff. All the most wonderful smells in the world seems to be mixed up in the air around them. The smell of roasting coffee and burnt sugar and melting chocolate and mint and orange blossom and crushed hazelnuts, almonds and caramel and lemon peel, vanilla, peppermint, bubble gum. Come, get a move on, all of you, and don't dawdle, cried Mr. Wonka. Follow me now. Soon he turned right off the main corridor into a slightly narrower passage. Then he turned left. Then he turned right. Again a right turn. Now left and again left. The place had sloping passages leading in every direction. Now we are going underground. All the most important rooms of my factory are deep down below the surface. That's because all the rooms you are going to see are gigantic. Where would I get so much space on the surface of the earth? My factory rooms and the garden are larger than football fields. No building in the world would be big enough to house my factory. They walked and walked and walked, and then suddenly Mr. Wonka stopped. They almost bumped into him. In front of them was a metal door. The party crowded round. On the door in large letters it said, Chocolate Room. If this video was helpful for you, then please like and share my video with your friends, and also don't forget to subscribe my channel. Do with the notification bell so you would not miss the updates of any of my upcoming videos. If you're not following my Facebook page, then do follow my Facebook page because I will be uploading the PDF of this story on my Facebook page. Link to my Facebook page is given in the description box, so do check out the description box also. Bye bye and take care, and now I will meet you in my next video.